Hey, it's Wendy, and we're going to do a couple of short videos going through the steps of fixing a flat on your bicycle. This is true for road bike or mountain bike. I'll be mainly demonstrating the changing of the tube in a bike that has tubes, but in a tubeless bike that has sealant in it, if you can't get it to pump up on its own, you need to put a tube in. So it's the same idea. It's just messier if there's sealant in there. I would first encourage you to practice this. So it is best to be good at this skill so that when you are out biking, a flat is not a devastating stress and you can go on and have a great ride. Also, I'd encourage you to get the skill yourself, even if you ride with others who are good at changing tires, because we're never always with other people who know what they're doing. And then also, sometimes we find people who need help with this on the road, and it'd be great to offer them help. As a generality, many women are not as good at this skill because I find they're often riding with their male friends who are good at this skill. So it's really great to increase independence of being able to do this yourself and to be able to do it quickly and without a lot of stress. So the most important thing is you have to take a little time, not when you're out biking, and practice this. And you have to do it enough till you're good at it, like many things you've learned in your life. So the first thing is equipment. You need to always have with you a spare tube. One is usually enough for a typical day of riding. 2 tubes might be a good idea for a ride that's going to be 100 miles when we're speaking of road rides. 1 tube is usually enough for most mountain biking rides, although if you're very remote, you might want to consider 2. You need something to pump up the tire. Air canisters are great, but you need a backup always. And a backup is a manual pump. I'll show you the item that I have, and some of these are still available, which is a manual pump that also serves to be a connector for an air canister. But you can also just have these separately. And then the only other thing you need is tire, quote, irons, though they're not iron anymore. So I'm going to show you those on my bike. Here we go. Spare tube. And tire irons. Now, and then there should also be an air canister, CO2 canister, is what they really are. And they come in 2 types, threaded and unthreaded. My inflator is threaded, so this is a threaded CO2 canister. It's 16 grams, which is the, quote, smaller size for road tires. Mountain bike tires need more. This is my pump. So this is my backup pump in case I blow my CO2 canister, which happens very often, especially if you don't practice this. So depending just on this as a setup for disaster. So you need a backup. You know, these little lightweight pumps are pretty unpleasant to use, so it's great to use a CO2 canister, gets you rolling faster. As far as the tire, quote, irons, I love ones that are thin. I really don't like the thick, heavy ones. I find them difficult to get the tire back on and also risk injuring your tube with the tire iron. So a model that's very thin I find works best, and though you can do it with one, 2 is really nice, 3 you don't need. As far as other equipment, my bike that I'm using today has a through axle, so in order to remove the rear wheel, I'm also going to need an appropriately sized hex wrench. If you don't have a through axle, it's a quick release and you don't need any tool. So make sure you have your tools, tire irons, manual pump, and once again, you can find these that actually serve to hold the CO2 canister also, or you can just have a separate one. In case you do that, you need a chuck to go on this, and an appropriate size tube. All right, I'm going to stop there and start another video showing how to most easily remove the rear tire. Now, removing the rear wheel and tire is challenging for some people, so that's why we're going to concentrate on it. Bye.